Like my dress. Mm. I like wearing dresses. They're very comfortable. Um, Sometimes it's very easy to go to the bathroom. Depending on the dress, though. Some dresses are hard to go to the bathroom. That's why the girls go to the bathroom together. They're undressing each other. They got to unzip. You know, you got to be careful what you watch. The videos on YouTube, the news shows you watch. Like, I mean, just an example. Look at the people that watch Fox and how crazy they are, and the moronic things they believe. Um, I mean, Fox has already said that they are not a news show. They are entertainment, you know. And it's like Gary Shandling with, was not a real TV host. It was entertainment, you know. And we blur the line between fake and real, you know. And like I said before, it's very hard to decipher what's fake and what's real because it's all mixed up. It's like when you have two pieces of meat that get mushed together to make chop meat and chuck and sirloin. And once you make the chop meat, you can't decipher what's what anymore. It's too late. So it becomes its own product, which is the chop meat. And that's what happens with the news. You know, they have bullshit and they have good news, and they mix it all up, and it's just impossible to tell what's what. You know, and they do it on purpose. They don't want you to know the truth. They lie to you every day. Every day you're awake, and when you go to sleep, they're planning new lies to the next day. And you wake up and you turn on the news, and the lies start piling up. And it's just they talk about public safety, but they really don't. The government talks about public safety, and they sell all the fentanyl. So it's a real contradiction. Trump is the biggest cartel drug lord on the planet right now, and nobody will say that to his face. And that's the problem. The news isn't the news. The news is fake. It's fake news. Trump said it. Trump said it's fake news because it is. And I mean, he'll say we have a deal with Iran, and there's no deal. But the newscasters, the idiots that they are, will be like, "Oh, we have a deal with Iran," and then the next morning they're like, "Oh, there's no deal." You know, he bamboozled us again. Like you're an idiot falling for it in the first place. I mean that's obvious. But the problem is, a lot of you are idiots because you fall for it too. And they're really not talking to you. They don't give a rat's ass about you. They're talking to stock investors and stock market and oil prices. And he's investing. Trump is investing in the stock, whichever way he thinks he's going to talk it up. Um, he invested in Dell stock, and now Dell's like everywhere. And Dell was like a dead company, and it should be dead and it should die. That's like GameStop. GameStop was a dead company until someone talked it up, and they started a lot of BS about it. And some people made money, and a lot of people that heard about the money being made, they tried to jump in, and they lost all their money because the train has already left the station. So, it's just gotta be careful, because when you take negative stuff like this into your brain, into your heart, into your soul, that's what you put out. Now, it reflects off of you and goes out into the universe. And the more of you that watch this stuff, I mean, look at the effect of Fox. Fox got Trump elected, and they're trying to keep him elected because they don't want to look like the idiots they are. I mean, Hegseth came from Fox, and he's the moron of all morons. But every one of his cabinet members is a moron. Look at RFK Jr., the major moron that he is. You know, and I'm noticing that like a lot of doctors are not a lot, but doctors run for office. Like they act like they're gonna fix the world. Like you could trust them because they're a doctor. They're not a lawyer kind of thing. And doctors are scum of the earth. You know, they rip you off blind. And when they get into office, they do the same thing. And they do it on a grander scale. I mean, how many doctors voted RFK into his job as the head of the health department? You know, they don't care. They don't care. They're puppets. You can't be on Capitol Hill unless you are a puppet. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You're a puppet. And you bend to the money. You go with the money, and that's why they all take Jewish money, because they don't have a choice, and that's why they vote everything pro-Jews, pro-Jewish. You know, Palestinians don't have any money, do they? And they don't have any voters in Congress either. So you can see it. It's so blatantly clear, so blatantly obvious where the allegiance goes. Now Trump is scaling back NATO and telling Europe to arm themselves and protect themselves and do more for themselves, and that's just the military machine selling weapons to Europe. That's all it is about. It's like, oh, we need weapons now. We're not going to rely on the United States anymore. We have to have our own weapons. Well, who the hell do you think is going to make them? We are, and we're going to sell them to them. And Germany's rearming. Great thing to do there. Ingenious, ingenious. Why don't we let Japan rearm too while we're at it? I mean, the idiocracy is just astounding. The, the naivete is appalling. So, and you got the idiot in chief. So, what do you expect? And he don't make any decisions. He's not making any decisions that he does. He's just the puppet. He's the puppet. He's not the puppet master. The puppet master's in black behind the scenes. You never see him. You don't know who he is. It's like the cartoon. The cartoon isn't the voice. It's an actor in a booth talking into a microphone, and that's what Trump is. Somebody's talking through a microphone to tell Trump what to say. And believe me, if he doesn't say it, he'll end up like John F. Kennedy. So, and they already proved that they can do that. And he's a cult leader. And how do you make a cult love their leader even more? You try to end them like they did. That was all about getting them elected. They didn't care if they killed those people for no reason and on purpose. It was all about getting them elected, you know. And it worked. I'm sorry for that guy that lost his life. Uh, but Trump's not. Trump made billions of dollars because he got elected. So it was worth it. That guy was worth it to die, because he got me elected. And and that's the scum that he is. He'll take you or me out in 5 seconds to protect himself because he's a narcissist. And that's what narcissists do. They don't care about anybody but themselves. And you gotta really say they don't care about themselves either. You know, they don't, because they have no heart. And not only do they have no heart for you or me, they really have no heart for themselves. They hate themselves. And that's why they do a lot of what they do, is because they hate themselves and they're trying to run from the hate that follows them everywhere they go. And it's hard. You know? You can't escape it because no matter how far he goes, he takes himself everywhere he goes. He went to China. He brought himself to China. So it didn't help. No matter how far you go, you bring yourself with you. You know, drunks, they try to move to a different state or a different town because they're so used to the bars in that town or the clubs and the liquor stores and the drug dealers, and they move. And when they move, they find new drug dealers, new liquor stores, new bars because they brought themselves with them and they can't escape it. So stop doing all the negative stuff. Don't look at the negative content. If you see it, turn it off. The good stuff is sheltered out. They don't want it. It's filtered out. They don't want you watching good stuff. They want you captured in the negative because it keeps everything else